What's up, everybody? It's the Pope Elijah Burke, and I want you to tune in whenever you can to make sure that you're listening to Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast with Adam and Fiona.
It's power time on the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast. Those of you that watched the AEW show this morning will know I did say I'll be back later on with power. I was hoping to be with Miss Fiona Lockren. Unfortunately, Fiona wasn't able to view power again this week, VPN playing up. Now, on that note, we do know that as of next weekend, that will all change because NWA Power has a new home, and that new home is Comet TV. Now, what we know, you can watch it free of charge on your laptop, on your phone, if you go to Comet TV, and you can watch it at 9 p.m. UK time, 4 p.m. Eastern on Saturday nights. So that's going to be the new home of power. I believe next weekend they're going to do a double. There's going to be a Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, which ain't going to happen. That may be a repeat of next week's Roku episode, followed by the new episode next Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern. Cup of Joe, not Joe Kazan. Now, the only thing that we need to find out a bit more information on this if they have a playback service so we can watch NWA, at any time rather than having to watch at the allotted time. That may cause an issue. Obviously, Fiona works in wrestling. Saturdays are generally very busy. So we'll have to wait and see if Fee will be able to watch that episode or the episode. So we're going to have to wait and see. It is a wait and see moment. But I did get to see this week's Power. And of course, we're going to have a no limits main event between Brian Idol and BFT. Well, the former BFT Carnage, which would be interesting. I'm liking the fact that Carnage gets an opportunity to shine in one-on-one action. It's very, very rare because obviously he was with BFT with Damage. Not sure the situation there. Ever since Aaron's left them, they've seemed to have kind of combusted a little. So we'll see what happens with BFT. But we did start with a triple threat match for the number one contendership for the Junior Heavyweight Championship, held, of course, by Slade. And what we did know is that match would happen right after this. Bit like the Mondo one recently, the Federation of Champions call in the shots, so to speak. Now, this was Damian Fenrir, it was Alexandra Miserable, and it was Ethan Tornado. I believe that's how you pronounce it. If I'm wrong, I apologize. Hey, listen, really good triple threat match. I love Alex Misery. I do like Damian Fenrir as well. He's so impressive. Kind of reminds me a bit of Slade in many ways when you get into the ring there. And like I say, Tornado's kind of been the freshest face, but I think it was his fourth match overall. Um, but really, really good triple threat. They hit some high spots as well. There was a top rope, great top rope move from Tornado as well. And he gets turned around into a Styles clash from Alexander Miserable. I like that. I call what Danny Dills calls it. So he's Alexander Miserable in there. But he eats in there. He eats a poison Rama to Fenrir as well. Some great action in this match. As I say, really, really enjoyable from these three. Great chemistry, really high octane, which is what the junior heavyweight division is all about in NWA. It is about the wrestling and the action, which is really, they have the characters, but it's really about the action. Now, with that in mind, it did take off the lightning bomb victory. The lightning bomb from Damian Fenrir after Tornado connected with a shooting star on Misery. So he could have had the match won, which was really, really good. The issue here was that when Fenrir won, he kind of pulled up a bit limp, sorry, should I say. And this kind of had a bit of an impact on it because he said there's no time to recover for Damien Fenrir because he's straight in to the match with Slade for the Junior Heavyweight Championship. Obviously, Slade with Aaron Stevens there as well. Excuse me, as a can't beat a cup of Joe, not Kazana. Anyway, he's nursing a bad knee. Now, obviously, Slade's got the ankle lock, which is one of his signature finishes in this as well. So he automatically paying, and Slade has already taken advantage on this as well. Obviously, when the ref's back is turned, he's tripped him, he's attacking the knee. Slade with a lot of suplexes in this as well. But to be fair, Fenrir, to his credit, he took that punishment. He kept pushing him away, pushing him off, lands a cross body for a close count as well, or close to, should I say, in this. And as he's attempting though the shotgun lariat, the knee buckles and Slade smelled blood at that point, and he so he puts him in the Slade lock, and Fenrir unfortunately taps out, and Slade still the junior heavyweight champion. I have to say though, Misery as well as Fenrir, the future is so bright in the NWA light heavyweight division. I'm finding that division the best division right now in the NWA. I really do, because we're seeing so many good faces. We're seeing so many exciting matches. The champion in Slade, who really is an incredible, wrestler. I mean, he's just a collegiate wrestler. He really is. He's one of the best the NWA have got, in my opinion. He's right up there for me. In fact, he may well be the best wrestler, pound for pound, that the NWA have. I wouldn't want to be there. I would love to see him against a Silas Mason in now. I'd love it if he rocked up against a Frillbilly at one point. Now he does have Crockett Cup action to deal with coming up as well. Obviously, the wrestling machines are in there, as we discussed last week, and hopefully this was a week where we didn't have any Crockett Cup action. So maybe next week we're going to be pushing on to Comet with the Crockett Cup with any luck anyway. But congratulations to Slade. But, Damien Fenrir will be back. Misery will be back. Will Austin as well in there. There's so many great guys. Hayden Backlund as well. Check out our interview with him next week. Our interview with Man Bun Jesus will be out shortly as well. So don't forget to check that out. The division, the junior heavyweight is stacked. Of course, too hot for trot. Alex Taylor as well. You can't forget the former champion. He's got to be in the mix at some point as well. Alexander Misery, who's just lost the match, he was talking Gaggz up against Bones, quite possibly the weirdest combination of people to wrestle in NWA history coming up in this one. But then we go to the Page sisters. Now, this is interesting, folks, because they've got issues with Serena Val and Haley J. That's been showcased over the last kind of 4-6 weeks or so. And they suggest that they team up to go against them. Kenzie is going to put up her #1 contendership in this if they win. But if they lose, they cannot challenge for the Burke for an entire year. High stakes grudge tag team match, hopefully coming our way, I believe, next week on Powerr. That's a big one for Kenzie, the #1 contendership, considering Markova's had 2 or 3 title defenses since she won that championship. Surprised Kenzie hasn't cashed that opportunity in. But now she's putting it up. High stakes tag match on Powerr coming up. Will the Page sisters get the job done, or will Kenzie Page lose that #1 contendership? We will have to find out as we cut to our good friend Carl Davis in the ring with Brandon McCall. And he was trying to address the rumors as to why he's brought Bones into the NWA. But before we can get there, the music hits, and here comes Bones, ladies and gentlemen. It's the practitioner of Haitian voodoo, versus Gimpomania, folks. Yes, do not adjust it. The practitioner of Haitian voodoo versus Gimpomania in Bones versus Gaggz the Dip. Gaggz the Dip? Gaggz. Gaggz the Gimp is in there. Everything about this match, to be honest, is unconventional and deals on commentary here. Said it's not often that you see a wrestler weirder than Gags, and I absolutely agree with Danny Dills on that one. That is very possible. He may be the most bizarre character. And this is the other part of the NWA. You've got the action part, which we love, and that is fantastic. But you've also got the differences of characters in the NWA. Yes, you've got your Frillbillies. Yes, you've got your Kensies. You got your Markovers. But for every one of those, you've got a Gags. You've got a Bones. You've pretty much got everybody else. So it is great to see that in the NWA as well, because it is about characters. You are a character in wrestling, and it is all about it. And the match itself was very bizarre. Didn't last very long, I might add, because you know McCall tripped up Gags, and Bones put him in an armbar to make him submit, and it really wasn't, very long. And what I'd say with Bones is, he ain't no, people Kamala would be read by. He's no Kamala, but he's interesting to say the least. And that is Bones' first win, I believe, in NWA. So we got ourselves, he's on the form. He's got a win, and Gags. Have I ever seen Gags win a match? Have you ever seen Gags win a match? I actually don't know. I can't recall. I said maybe I have. Maybe it was like a six man or with the Alexander Miserable and everybody else. I don't know. Maybe I have. I must have done. It's been 3 years since we've watched NWA, or since I have been watching NWA, and it's been on three or four different channels, I might add, during that time. So I must have seen it. I must have seen the win from Gags. Anyway, we're going back to El Cantro Tattoo. And this week, Pretty Boy Smooth and Tiffany Evers are there as well. And he asked him what the deal is with Dr. Victor. And basically, he's just looking out for her since they spent time together at Exodus Pro. Smooth. Tiffany Neves, very big staple point of Exodus Pro Wrestling. She's a former Exodus Pro Wrestling women's world champion, of course. So, Smooth being a good friend. He is the urban playboy, of course, as well. We can't forget that. You know, but he was just looking out for Tiffany Neves, and she was like, "Well, I can't help that the poor doctors are obsessed with La Princesa." And Frillbilly is nearby at this time, and he calls it correct when he describes her as what did he say? A Machiavellian mamacita. And if there's a T-shirt that says it, I'll buy it. Fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Looking forward, Pretty Boy Smooth is in there, and funnily enough, before we get to that, Serena Vale and Haley J will answer in the challenge of the Paid Sisters, and indeed, it will be back, or it will be on next week on NWA. Kenzie and Kylie versus Haley J and Serena Vale. High stakes tag team match. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Can't wait for that next week. But the aforementioned Pretty Boy Smooth was in action against Big Cuzzo on NWA. Again, another character, but he's a good, he looks a big old boy, just like Smooth, really. It's the debut of Cuzzo, and he's he matches up with the 6'4", 290 PBS, that's for sure. And I think he bills himself as the big pappy of professional wrestling. This was just a hard hitting slugfest between these two. I did like it. I mean, there was a fucking Pretty Boy Smooth can fight. There's no doubt about that. Dominating victory, considering these two were very big athletes. It was a pretty dominating victory for our good friend Pretty Boy Smooth, and one penthouse bomb later, and that is done for Pretty Boy Smooth. And I would say that he was looking to climb the ladder in the NWA and go for championships. However, somebody may have taken issue to that, and that somebody is Trevor Murdoch, who comes to the ring and hits Pretty Boy Smooth with a flying bulldog. So it looks like Pre-BS has got an issue with a former two-time NWA World Champion, Captain Badass himself, Trevor Murdoch. Now, those of you that will know at the Crockett Cup, Trevor Murdoch does retire from professional wrestling. So it'll be interesting to see how this pans out. But right now, he's got the Urban Playboy coming up very soon on Power. We cut to Daisy Kill at this point. He's got a special announcement. He wants a ladder match with a kendo stick. And he wants to have a good time. Good time. And I think that maybe Smalls may be having a problem here with maybe with Daisy on this one, but we'll see. Daisy Kill, not a happy bunny this week on Power. We go back to the wrestling machines though, Slade and Mondo, and they have a warning for anyone in the Crockett Cup that they come up against. They're all going to find out what the wrestling machines are all about. Well, we will find out what the wrestling machines are all about at the Crockett Cup when we get round to seeing it. It may be in a couple of weeks' time on Comet TV. Like I said, new home for NWA. Comet TV, you do not need a VPN to watch. What we don't know is if it's got a playback where we can watch NWA any time. Territory action now. Pretty City Express, Class and Devin Reno were going against the young upstarts, Jack Valor and Eddie Grayson. Jack and Eddie, and I like this. Obviously, Duke City Wrestling, NWA New Mexico for Pretty City Express, and of course, NWA Chicago for Jack and Eddie, who will be coming on the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast very, very soon. We're looking forward to having them on there as well. But great chemistry with Jack and Eddie already at such a young age. You can really see they've taken to tag team wrestling very, very nicely indeed. And eventually, though, Grayson does get caught, and then the Express really do what I love about NWA tag team wrestling. They cut that ring in half, and Grayson takes a lot of punishment. He does, though, eventually get the tag to Valor, and he's using his speed and agility in this one, and but they do eventually, though, after him doing all that, they do take out Grayson again, and unfortunately for Valor, he gets hit with the assisted leg drop and the pin, and Pretty City Express get their first victory, I believe, in the NWA, and that tag division. We haven't even. I don't think we've seen. We haven't seen the Immortals. I know that they're in the Crockett Cup, but they're also the World Tag Team Champions. I think they've defended it like after they won it at NWA 77. I don't think they've defended it since. Again, I can't recall. I wish Fiona maybe she would know a bit more about that. I don't think they have. We'd have to look through notes, but the Immortals. Maybe against Pretty City Express. Who knows? We'll find out. Well, eventually, I suppose, in the Crockett Cup. But Pretty City Express could have done, or have done their, I suppose, thing no harm by beating Jack and Eddie, who are definitely ones for the future. Very exciting team. Really, as I said, really looking forward to seeing what Jack and Eddie are all about. Hopefully, see them at the Crockett Cup when it airs on Comet TV. Tiffany Nieves and Dr. Vic are next, folks, and she doesn't want him to overthink his match. Now, obviously, Dr. Vic has now got this dream that Sam Starr said about doing, and that dream is to become A, professional wrestler, and B, the NWA World's Heavyweight Champion. Because, we know Silas has been sniffing around Tiffany Nieves, and Dr. Vic loves Tiffany Nieves. So, in order, Sam Starr's belief is, well, you beat Thrillbilly for that championship, and Tiffany is all yours. And his first match, well, he doesn't feel good about it. And to be quite honest with you, if I was him, neither would I, because his first match is against Wrecking Paul Legursky of all people. But Tiffany Never's like, don't overthink it. You're good and you're bueno. I mean, bueno, Kinder Bueno. That's I'm not quite sure that he's got it or he'll get it. And I don't quite think he's bueno about it, Tiffany, but nevertheless, Dr. Vic Wrecking Paul Legursky next week, or maybe next week, sorry, but that's wow. Sorry, Dr. Vic. I think you're um, in trouble, shall we say. Right. Main event on NWA Power this week. It was a no limits match between Brian Idol and Carnage. And again, this was for the number one contendership. Brian Idol put his on the line against Carnage, and I tell you what, he's charged straight at Idol. Did Carnage, and it was missed it though. Jumping moonsault from Idol for a 2 count. Carnage escaped the kill shot or the idolizer, depending on what way you look at it. And Carnage does hit a low blow onto Brian Idol, and then he dishes out some blunt force trauma to Idol with some slams on the mat. There was another low kick on here in the balls. He seems to have been, maybe he's been talking to Smalls Carnage, because he was doing a lot of damage to Brian Idol's idols, so to speak, and then he power bombed him on the floor. But Tom Latimer comes out to make the save on this one, and Carnage gets out of the way. And this is a no limits match, don't forget. So anything goes in this, and anything did go. They were going at it. This was great. However, a roll up by Brian Idol got the job done in this match. So Brian Idol is still your number one contender for the World Heavyweight Championship again. So he will get a rematch against the Thrillbilly Silas Mason. When, we don't know. Probably the Crockett Cup. I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see on that. But really solid episode. It was a shame that we didn't have no Crockett Cup matches, but obviously that's now going to be saved for the tournament itself, shall I say. But obviously, look, lots of exciting times. I mean, Comet TV is a big one for NWA, and ultimately that Comet TV deal is one that Ring of Honor used. So he's bringing back NWA to, well, to national television, and that is great. I'm really looking forward to that, and I think we're going to be in for a great show at the end at the Crockett Cup, and we're also going to be looking for a great show next week on NWA Power. I believe, if memory serves me right, it will be the last NWA Power before Fee jets off to see our good friends Kenzie and Kylie Page in Seaverville, Tennessee. Goes to watch some KFW. So hopefully Fee can watch it. And we hope you can watch it too. Of course, next week is the actually that's the Comet show, so I don't know. We'll have to work out. It won't be no NWA Power until later on. Oh no, the Roku episode should air at usual time on Tuesday, and then obviously we go on. They'll repeat that on Friday at Comet, and then we get the new episode on Saturday. Interesting times. Looking forward to it. Nevertheless, don't forget, follow us at HTT Buckle everywhere. We have interviews dropping all over the show. Man Bun Jesus will be dropping later on. We got Hayden Backlund. I can announce today that AEW and Ring of Honor star Billy Starks will be joining us on the channel very, very soon as well. Really looking forward to that one. We got some collaborations this weekend. We're collaborating with the Wrestling Junkies, bringing you This Week in Wrestling. Go and see the debut episode of the Turnbuckle Arms, featuring myself and our new host, Michael Jolly. It was great fun to have Michael with us. And a big thank you to David Bartolome and Will Scar for our fantastic new song. I am just trying to put the package together so we can start every episode with Ignite, which is the best way to start, because you know that our relationship with Ignite is fantastic, and there's I couldn't think of any better name for us to use. But look, From me, your host, Adam Cousins, thank you so much for watching the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast. We'll be back. Well, we'll be back with later on with the Man Bun Jesus interview, but we'll be back tomorrow with a TNA Impact review, as well as, well, you'll be able to see the artist formerly known as Alicia Fox, Victoria Crawford, on our channel next week. But until next time, everybody, buckle down, stay safe, and good.